Welcome to the Explainer. We often look at the global economy and it feels like there's this persistent, almost gravitational pull going on. Consider this. The top 1% haven't just captured a larger share of new wealth over the last decade, the rate at which they actually accumulate that wealth is accelerating. The wealth gap isn't just growing, it's compounding. Today, we're going to explore the precise mechanics of why that happens. We are going straight to our source material to decode the actual structural realities of modern wealth accumulation. So, why do the rich keep getting richer? It's a question we hear all the time, right? Almost like it's just some inevitable law of nature. But rather than just throwing our hands up and accepting it as a given, we are going to break down the exact mechanics behind this outcome. For those of us tracking economic trends, it is absolutely vital to move beyond the surface level observation and really understand the underlying engine. We want to pinpoint exactly how wealth operates once it reaches that critical mass.
Section 1. The Wealth Accumulation Phenomenon and the Foundation of Lasting Fortunes.
Our source material lays out a really clear challenge for us. Explore the strategies and systems that help wealthy people build lasting fortunes. Notice the very deliberate separation in that phrasing. Wealth generation actually relies on two monumental forces: active strategies and passive systems. And it's incredibly common to mix the two up. We so often attribute massive generational wealth purely to individual brilliance or, relentless hard work. But the reality outlined in our sources is that those actions are really just the spark. It's the interplay between what an individual does and the framework they exist within that truly dictates whether a fortune lasts or fades away. Grasping this duality is the absolute key to making sense of vast wealth concentration. Engine 1. Strategies for building wealth and the active choices behind them. Okay, so our source defines a strategy as the active individual plans and actions utilized by wealthy people to build their fortunes. Basically, building significant capital from scratch or even scaling up existing capital is an intensely deliberate process. It requires someone making incredibly specific, high-leverage choices. In the real world, this looks like an entrepreneur aggressively scaling a tech startup, an investor taking concentrated positions in emerging markets, or maybe a private equity firm executing highly targeted acquisitions. This is the realm of active risk, sleepless nights, and aggressive market maneuvers. It's the sheer force of will and intellect applied to gather resources. But as we know, creating wealth and keeping it are two fundamentally different things entirely. Section 2. Engine 2. Systems protecting lasting fortunes and the structural advantage. Here's the flip side. A system is defined as the structural mechanisms and passive environments that help wealthy people preserve their lasting fortunes. While strategies take a ton of constant energy and individual input, systems are inherently passive. They are the overarching architectural forces of our economy. Think of the incredible power of compounding interest over decades. It's literally money making money while you sleep. Think of tax-advantaged holding companies, complex trust structures, or highly favorable regulatory environments that legally minimize erosion from taxation. Once capital crosses a certain threshold, it enters these systems. At that point, the wealth isn't primarily growing because of the individual's daily hustle anymore. It's growing because the environment is structurally designed to insulate and multiply it. So we're looking at a pretty profound duality here. Strategies are those active individual plans used to build wealth versus systems, which are the passive structural mechanisms used to protect those lasting fortunes. Figuring out how one hands off to the other is the big secret to understanding our source material today. Society focuses overwhelmingly on the strategy side, right? We love the stories of the lone inventor or the brilliant stock picker. But the quiet reality of lasting multi-generational wealth is dominated entirely by the system side. The absolute most critical pivot a high net worth individual makes is transitioning their reliance from their own active strategies to the enduring power of economic systems. Section 3. The Enduring Wealth Cycle. Synthesizing the dual engines. Let's map out exactly how this progression works. Step 1 is where the vast majority of human effort is spent, employing strategies to build wealth. This is the hardest part. It's like pushing a giant boulder up a hill. But the magic happens at the transition to step 2, where the individual relies on systems to protect it. Notice how the friction just disappears here. The heavy lifting of the active strategy gives way to the immense momentum of a structural system. By placing assets into trusts or leveraging tax strategies, the wealth essentially becomes self-insulating. And this frictionless transition inevitably leads to step 3, establishing a lasting fortune. The wealth is no longer dependent on a single person's genius or labor. It becomes a completely self-sustaining entity. Which brings us to the core takeaway of this explainer. The rich keep getting richer through a powerful, synchronized combination of active strategies and structural systems. It is the perfect marriage of individual action and a supportive environment. So why does this matter to us? Well, because understanding this completely changes how you view success and economic mobility. It highlights that long-term financial security isn't just about working harder or coming up with a better individual strategy. It's about understanding the environments you operate within. It forces us to ask whether those environments are structurally designed to preserve your efforts or erode them. As we wrap up today, I want to leave you pondering this massive question. If strategies build wealth and systems ensure the rich keep getting richer, how will these lasting fortunes shape our future? It's a powerful, self-sustaining dynamic with immense implications for markets, policy, and society as a whole. Understanding the mechanics of these twin engines gives us a much sharper lens to view the true economic realities of our world. Think about this dual mechanism as you observe the economy around you. Thanks for joining me today on this explainer, and keep questioning the systems that structure our world.